Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You'll get divorced. You'll get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter. Because as you know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. We are here today with a longtime friend and fresh starts expert, Jill Kaufman. Jill, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So I am a licensed therapist, a divorce coach, a certified mediator, a parent educator, and have been doing this for a long time. And I have a book, an online course, and a group coaching program helping people who are going through divorce.
What don't you do, Jill? Right? That's the better question. Well, one thing that you didn't mention that we wanted to talk about today was you also support professionals in the divorce industry. So can you tell us a little bit about how you do that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is something I am so passionate about. I have a big network of divorce professionals, and we were all kind of referring each other different professionals when we needed it for our clients. And I was like, we really need like an old-fashioned Rolodex, like we need a place where we can go when we need somebody in a certain area that we can refer to. And so I started putting together, this directory, and I have a co-founder who is an amazing tech entrepreneur, and he created this website. And really what our mission is to change the divorce industry for the better, because we have professionals who are all aligned with this mission of lowering conflict, keeping people out of court, and protecting children and families. And not every divorce professional has that mission, unfortunately. So a lot of our professionals are creating apps and tools. They have podcasts, they have books, and they're really doing things to change the industry for the better, which is really exciting.
Really exciting. But I love that you said that they're all aligned with this mission, because you're right. I mean, you could talk to any divorce professional and they'll tell you the stories that they've heard of people who are not aligned. Can you talk to us a little bit about why it's so important to have multiple divorce professionals on your team when you're going through this? Because it's not just lawyer at all.
No. And that's the mistake I made when I went through my divorce, and a lot of people make, is that they say they're going to start their divorce, they need to hire an attorney. And so that is not the first person you need, because the law is really only about 10% of your divorce. The financial piece is about 10%. And then the emotional piece is 80%. So if you go to your attorney first, you're going to them for 100% of your divorce, and they can really only help you with 10%. They are not a mental health professional. And I vented to my attorney, and that was a big waste of time and money. And a lot of people do that. And so knowing how to use your attorney is so, so important. I'm sure you talk about this all the time with people, but having that team actually saves you money. People think that it's going to cost you money to have more people on your team, and it's not. Like, for example, a certified divorce lending professional is someone you may not even know about, but it's someone can really help you before you make your agreement, know what to put in there so that you can get a mortgage. You may not know that, and your attorney may not know that, because that's not their focus. Their focus is the law.
Yeah, and I think that's a really hard pill for a lot of people to swallow sometimes, is that your attorney has a specific role on your team, and it's not necessarily to look at your parenting plan or look at your financial documents, that you really need other people. And the work that you're doing, Jill, and that you've been doing for so long, and the reason that you created this network is because everybody on that network is so aligned with saying you need to look outside the box, right? When it comes to like the traditional divorce methodology of like, go hire the shark in town and, get whatever. That's not really what this is about.
No, and it hurts your children, right?
Yeah.
So your attorney isn't going to think about the impact on your children. And that's what I mean, there are good attorneys out there
Right,
who
but that's
do.
not their job, right? And I
That's
think
not
that
the
that's
job.
that's really what it comes down to, right? Like there's other people, like you work with people on parenting plans and all of those things. I mean, that's not like that's incorporated, right? But that's not their specific role.
Right. They're taught in law school to fight for their client. And the good attorneys out there say they have to unlearn what they learned in law school in order to be a good divorce attorney, which, you know, who would have thought that, right?
Mm,
But that's really what that's the way they look at it. And in my divorce personally, my attorney made me sign something saying that she doesn't agree that I should sign my agreement because it wasn't what I could get. Do you know what I
mhm,
mean? I could get more. But I knew my situation and I knew what was best for my family and for my children and for me. And I'm, 14 years later, I'm very happy I signed that agreement. I have no
mhm.
regrets. But attorneys don't look at it like that.
Can you talk to us a little bit about why divorce coaches in particular, or the work that you do, it really does save money down the line? And what are some of those specific instances that do actually help you save money?
So there's so many things, right? Usually attorneys are not financial professionals. So you're sending them all of this financial information. They request it and they're going to charge you for looking at it, going through it, but they're not really going to help you financially. So it's much better to either work with a divorce coach if it's not that complex or a financial professional if it's a little bit more complex that can help you with your financial piece. And a lot of times, financial professionals don't even charge that much because that's what they do all the time. It's
Yeah.
really not that hard for them. So you're going to save money there. If you are prepared for your meetings with your attorney, if you walk in there knowing exactly what the agenda is, what questions you need answered, you're going to get more out of that time with your attorney than if you just, start with the attorney. If you go to your mediation and you're prepared, you are going to be much more efficient in mediation. If you don't respond to your soon to be ex emotionally, if you have tools in your toolbox so that you know how to respond, you're going to save, you know, increasing the conflict,
Yeah.
and them going to their attorneys. And I just remember when I initially hired my attorney because that's what thought I should do. My ex said, "Oh, well, you hired an attorney. I haven't hired an attorney."
Right.
And then we weren't communicating with each other. We were just communicating through attorneys. So
Right.
you're paying for all of those communications, which
Yeah.
is not necessary.
No,
You can
and it
talk
adds up.
directly to your soon to be
Yeah.
ex.
It adds up. It adds up so fast. So, what are some of the benefits of the professionals to join your network? And, like, what, not just I mean, obviously your network, but why is it important for professionals to have those other professionals in their back pocket?
So it it is priceless if you can refer someone to your client who is aligned in not making the conflict worse. I mean, having that confidence that this professional is really going to take care of your client, there's nothing like that. And I know I used to have like a Word document with all the people on it, and it was not organized. I could never find anybody. I didn't know if everybody was on there. So this is an organized way for you to find professionals to help your clients. Number one. Number two, their clients will find you because it's an easy way. It's listed by profession. So they can find you depending upon what profession you have. The other piece of it is we have resources on this website. So if there's a podcast that you have and you want it listed, they can find divorce podcasts easy. If there is one of the professionals has this method to divorce and it's a new method. Nobody really knows about it. I mean, people know about it. It's growing
Yeah.
incredibly, but this is on the resources section. So you can
Right.
see all the things that are available to you. You can learn about the beginnings of the divorce process and how not to make mistakes. You can get a budget spreadsheet. Like there are things there that our clients really need to have that we don't have access to all of it. So it's really
Yeah.
nice to have everything in one place. And just the networking, we also do monthly
Yep.
networking meetings, and having this network that's priceless because,
Yeah.
knowing other people in the industry and being able to communicate with them and refer back and forth, it's really, it's a wonderful group.
It is a wonderful group, and it's really important because there are a lot of bad actors in the divorce industry, and it's important to have people that you can trust. One of my favorite questions to ask professionals like you, Jill, with a network is if somebody's listening to this and they are not the one getting divorced, but maybe it's your sister or your friend, how can they utilize your network to support the person that they love?
Well, I mean, they could learn about it. There's a lot of videos and resources to help them understand, but I would just share the website with them.
Yep.
And, you can look in your area, in your zip code, and find professionals in your zip code and refer them to them. There's
I
also
love that.
a lot of people give free consults.
Yeah.
So you can go onto our website and get a free consult and then, learn how to move forward. You can learn a lot without even spending money,
Yeah.
so it's really a helpful way to start the process for, a friend, a family member, anybody who knows somebody who's going through this.
Yeah, it takes the burden off of them. You can do a little education. Talk to us a little bit about the work you specifically do and kind of the clients that you work with.
So I mostly work with parents who are going through divorce, thinking about it or going through. Once they're divorced, I don't work with them, but there's lots of divorce coaches out there who do. Um, so I like working in a group setting because I do work with people individually, but you get so much out of being in a group because there's something isolating about divorce, like it's very isolating. And when you hear what other people are going through and you realize you're not the only one, maybe you don't have it as bad as some other people, that just helps the healing process. It really helps when, you realize when I was going through divorce, I felt like it was never going to end,
Yeah.
and mine was relatively short. It was like 9 months before
Yep.
we signed our agreement. But every day is so stressful that like you feel like it's never going to end. And when you see people at different phases, like I had a group today and one of them had just signed her divorce papers. She's like, I'm divorced. It
Mhm.
gives you hope. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not going to be in this forever. So that's the way I really like to work with people. And it's really powerful when you have those kinds of groups.
I love that. I love that. If somebody's listening to this, Jill, and they are considering divorce or kind of in that messy middle, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave them with today?
So, what I always tell my clients is you are so much stronger than you realize because every day you go through this is another day you have to just say, I cannot believe I got through that and I'm still here and I'm still going strong. And it's okay if you mess up, like we all mess up. It's okay if you hired an attorney and you spent some money on that attorney, or if you said something that you shouldn't have said to your soon to be ex. This is just a process that we're all learning through, and we have to be kind to ourselves and know that we will get through this.
I love that. I love that. Thanks so much, Jill. How can people find out more about the network?
So it's very easy, divorcenetworkpro.com. And you can email us at info@divorcenetworkpro.com if you want more information. And I can even tell you about it and divorcecoachjill.com to find out more from me about it.
Awesome. We'll put the links in the show notes also. Jill, we always appreciate you and always love chatting with you. Thank you for the work you do, both in supporting people and the professionals so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Olivia.
Of course. Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.